continue to suffer from being optimizing on its potential from different levels, whether it was at the county levels, whether it was by national government or the partner house, the National Assembly, and so on. As we move on 10 years later, it's acknowledged that devolution must be implemented fully, and we expect that the role of Senate will be played fully. And in this role, we hope that our partnerships with development partners will be strengthened as we move forward. We have a very good panel today of 6 non-state actors who have supported devolution, and I will introduce each of them, and as I introduce you, please find your way up and pick a seat. I'll begin with Mr. David Gosney. Mr. Gosney joined the USAID in 2003 and is a career senior foreign service officer, class of minister counselor. He began his assignment as the mission director of Kenya and East Africa in August 2022. Prior to joining the Kenya and East Africa mission, he served as the mission director for USAID in El Salvador and Central America regional programming. He also served as USAID deputy mission director in South Sudan from 2016 and 2017. And earlier in his career, he also served as USAID office director positions in Thailand, South Sudan, Georgia, and Iraq, overseeing USAID assistance in areas such as business, climate reform, SME departments, government financial reform, biodiversity conservation, agricultural development, rural and road constructions, off-grid electricity production, and U.S. government engagement with regional institutions. He's a native of San Diego, California, and holds a Bachelor of Science from Humboldt State University, a Master's of International Affairs, specializing in international economic policy from Columbia University, and a Master of National Security Strategy from the National War College, which he got in 2016. Prior to joining USAID, he served as an economist at the Institute of International Finance in Washington, D.C., and was a member of the first group of Peace Corps volunteers in Zimbabwe, where he taught in secondary school. He taught math and science. Karibu sana, Mr. David Gosney. An applause for him, please. Next is Mr. Julius Cote. His bio has been is brief. I don't know whether this is British or something. Julius Cote is Deputy High Commissioner and Development Director for the British High Commission to Kenya. He has held other roles, senior roles, that have included time as head of DFID's strategy unit, head of the UK Government Prosperity Fund, and head of DFID Ethiopia. He also has been posted to South Sudan before, Nigeria, and Japan. Prior to joining the civil service, he worked for the United Nations and Overseas Development Institute. He is married with 2 children. But the most important thing is that he was born in Kenya in Aga Khan Hospital. Karibu sana, Mr. Julius Cote. Next is Mr. Anthony Ngororano. Mr. Ngororano is a national of Rwanda and was appointed as the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP in Kenya from 11th July 2022. Prior to this appointment, he held various positions. He's actually an international civil servant from his CV. He has served as the UNDP Res Rep in the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Chief Executive Board branch in the Office of the Executive Director of the UN Population Fund in New York. He's been the country representative UN Women in Haiti and Malawi, and Chief Africa Section in the UN Women in New York, Senior Economic Advisor to the Prime Minister of Rwanda at the rank of PS, Country Program Advisor with UNDP in the Regional Bureau of Africa, and he also led teams and held range of policy program roles in UNDP in Nigeria, Zambia, and Rwanda. And he began his career as an economist with the Uganda Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and later as the Regional Management Associate with Citigroup of Kenya and Tanzania. So he's truly East African and international. He holds a master's degree in development economics and international relations from the University of East Anglia and the University of Sussex, respectively. He also has an MA degree in economics from the University of Edinburgh. Karibu sana. Next is Ms. Maureen Odori. Maureen is a seasoned professional with over 17 years experience in international development, both as a technical facilitator and practitioner in reputable non-profit organizations. She currently serves as the country program representative for the Kenya Westminster Foundation for Democracy. WFD is the UK public body dedicated to strengthening democracy around the world. At WFD, she is tasked with overall responsibility for delivering and managing a broad range of programs in Kenya, focusing on parliamentary strengthening, political inclusion, and citizen engagement. She has participated in various global forums as a key resource, including the Swedish Institute for Sustainability Forum, Let's Talk, a highly creative 48-hour global think tank serving the dual purpose of developing real-life applicable solutions that help nations and effectively with some of the key sustainable challenges. She is certified in program management for development professionals and is a fellow of the Stanford University Center for Democracy, Development, and the Rule of Law. Karibu sana, Maureen Odori. Next is Carol Kariuki. Carol Kariuki is Kenya Private Sector, is the CEO of Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Sociology from the University of Nairobi, and a Master's degree in Public Administration from Bowling Green State University, Ohio. She has also pursued several professional courses on stakeholder management, leadership, and private sector development, among others. Before joining KEPSA, she briefly worked with Barclays Bank of Kenya, Nairobi Chapel, and Sagamo Institute for Public Policy Research, where she acted as a liaison between Kenya private sector and the institute before formally joining KEPSA. Ms. Kariuki is accredited for transforming KEPSA from a little-known business organization to one of the most influential organizations in Kenya, and globally KEPSA is the apex body of the private sector in Kenya. Karibu sana, Ms. Carol Kariuki. Next is Ms. Caroline Geita. Caroline Geita is a governance communication advocacy specialist with demonstrated success in leading and building sustainable programs and strategic leadership in governance, tourism, humanitarian, and development sectors. She is an ardent advocate for the constitutional promises of the public participation, integrity, equality, devolution, access to justice, and accountability. Her entry for the National Integrity Alliance won the Best Public Affairs campaign at the 2017 Public Relations Society of Kenya. She is past facilitator for the Young Political Advisors and a member of the National Multi-Agency Working Group Task Force on School Titling. She has previously worked at the Shule Yangu Alliance, hosted by Transparency International, the Commission for Implementation of the Constitution. She was actually one of my officers at the CIC, and she holds an MA in Development Studies and a BA in Political Science and Sociology, and a Diploma in Public Relations, among other professional qualifications. Karibu sana, Caroline Geita. Now that took quite a while, but it is important to acknowledge who the facilitators are. I'd like now to welcome our clerk, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye, who is the session moderator and who will take over from now. Mr. Nyegenye, as agreed, we will hopefully keep to the time and keep it lively so that we can give a chance to the senators to also ask questions.